Hey everyone, so in this video, what we're going to attack are one-step equations in which the variable is over here. It's at the end of our mathematical sentence. So I'm saying 2 is 5 minus x. And again, if you watched the last video, I think you should watch the other video about this guy here. What is really challenging for me about this is that when you don't understand something in school, or class, whatever, your textbook, and you look online for help, there's hardly any help that actually explains these two really challenging layouts, let's call it. Almost every question that I can find online, like within the first 3 or 4 pages of Google, they all deal with this question up here. X minus something equals a number. Rarely have I seen anything. It was kind of almost like a fluke, finding an explanation, like how do you step by step do this? And that's what I want to show you with this, because often you find it almost feels flippant. They're like, just do the opposite. You see subtraction, do addition. You see addition, do subtraction. But then you go to do it and it doesn't work out. And then you're like, but why? And it's actually really hard finding the explanation as to why. So I want to show you why it's not okay just to simply be like, do the opposite. So the opposite of subtraction is addition. Let me show you this. I'm going to do this wrong on purpose to show you why you can't just be like, do the opposite. So 2 equals, if I see the opposite of minus 5, then I'm like, plus 5. So I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to have plus 5 is x. That cancels itself out. It's 0. Then I'm going to go 2 plus 5. 2 plus 5 is x. 2 plus 5 is 7 equals x. I'm like, woohoo, I solved it. But then watch, here's the problem. Right, I'm saying just x equals 7, right? Let's just say I did it this way. And I'm like, x equals 7. Let me show you our dilemma here. 2 minus 5 equals x. I have no memory. 2 equals 5 minus x. Watch this. Here's our problem. I said that x was equal to 7. I'm going to plug this in. 2 equals 5 minus 7. 2 equals, if I've got 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, whatever, all the way down. I've got 5, 1, 2, 5, 4. This is a 3. That doesn't even look like a 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, minus 2. Minus 2. Do you see the problem? 2 does not equal minus 2. So for people that can look at this and they just know instinctively what to do, they're like, just do the opposite. People like me that don't love math, and I'm like, okay, I'll do the opposite. I did the opposite, and it didn't make sense. So let me show you step by step how to handle this one, because this one is no fun. So let me just, sorry, I've got really bad printing, and I just want to write this out a little neater. 2 equals 5 minus x. Here's how we solve this one. It's the exact same thing as the last video, but trust me, I'm the kind of learner where I'm like, I need an explanation for every example. And now you're going to have one, okay? So you could watch the last video and be like, I'm just going to switch it, but then I would be a hypocrite. So can't do that. I have to show you every example, every place that x could be in a one-step equation. So x is now over here. When we have this, it doesn't really work. We actually want x all on its own. But x is in a really hard to work with spot in this equation. So I actually have to move x within the equation, okay? So my step 1 is I'm going to add a positive sign to the 5, because 5 it's a positive 5. So I've not actually done anything wrong. That would be like me saying to someone, I like you have cookies. I see you have positive 2 cookies. Not needed, but it's correct, right? They're not gonna be like, what? I don't have negative cookies. Whatever, bad analogy, I know, I don't care. So I'm going to stick in my positive sign because that's what I have to do first, okay? Then I want you to maybe draw like a little box around the positive 5 and around the subtract x, okay? Make this a little clearer. I switch them. I inverse that order, okay? So I'm going to rewrite it. It's going to become, my minus x is going to go here, and my positive 5 is going to go there. And I know at this point you're like, what? But you just do it. So now this looks more like our first one. It looks a little bit better, right? Where we have x plus 5. Up here we have x minus 5. Down here it's got x plus 5. It's just a better layout, better pattern. So now I can I'm going to do the opposite. Where you just take away. If it's addition, now I can do subtraction. Now this actually works. So I see an addition sign. I'm not going to do subtraction. So I'm going to go minus 5. This cancels each other out to make 0. Okay. I'm at 5. I take away 5. I'm down to 0. So now I'm kind of just really left with x. But I also have to take away, oh, sorry, but I almost messed up. Do you see how I actually just copied on the x and I forgot to bring down the minus sign? It's actually still, I'm left with minus x. That's a problem. But we need that. It's a good problem. I took away 5 on this side. I have to take away 5 on this side. So I'm going to use my number line and I'm going to subtract 5. I start with 2, right? Because here's my 2 and I'm taking away 5. So now I have to go into the negative, which is kind of frustrating. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm left with negative 3. So I'm going to put in negative 3 equals negative x. And that's confusing. And I'm almost there. Like I've got, in theory, the right number, the wrong symbol, which means it's actually, I'm off by like 6 digits, okay? So in order to do this, I'm going to do one thing to the one side and the same thing to the other side. And that thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to divide by 1. Oops. Divide by negative 1. Divide by negative 1. Because when you divide something by 1, you're dividing it by itself. The number's going to be the same. If I have, though, a negative, and I divide by a negative, that means it's positive. So negative 3 divided by negative 1 equals 3. Negative x divided by negative 1 equals x. So now 3 equals x. And already in my brain, I want it to say x equals 3. I want to see x on the left. But it doesn't. But that's okay. So I'm just going to write over here, x equals 3. That's my answer, but I want to just check my answer because I want to get 100% on this math quiz. So 2 equals 5 minus x. If I'm saying x is 3, then I'm going to write it as 2 equals 5 minus 3. So 2 is staying there. 5 minus 3 is 2. When my answer equals my answer, I know I've done it correctly. So that's a tricky one. But now you know how to do it. You don't have to love it, but now you know how to do it. So good luck.